of a man who lives out there where two of our provinces meet. His name is Iqbal Solanki. He was hit with floods in 2010. Resilient man that he was, he came back. He was hit again in 2012. He was devastated, his life destroyed. He came back again. And then he was hit the third time, and that blew him away. And now he lives in an urban environment. 7 generations of working on a farm is all gone. The buffaloes that he had, which took him 2 generations to get out of poverty trap, gone with the flood. Children out of school, life devastated. Well, this is just one man. And this tells you what the problem is. His life was not just devastated by the floods, but by the floods followed by droughts, and droughts that would crack his land, followed by floods again, followed by droughts again. So I go to a lot of these international forums and everyone talks about floods or water scarcity being the problem. We've realized in Pakistan, as I will make a case everywhere else in the world, that the problem is neither the scarcity of water nor the floods. It's someone else having their hand on the tap that allows for the water to flow. Solanki didn't decide who was going to get into whatever you want to call it, treaties or contracts or agreements. He didn't decide them. He's a poor farmer. There are poor farmers all over the world. And if someone else who's not Solanki decides when he's going to be inundated and when he's going to starve, then it doesn't become a problem of water, it becomes a problem of justice. And I think what we'd like to bring to the fore and to the world is this problem of justice. So I don't think it's just the water problem. I think it's a problem of rights. You can frame it as a moral argument. You can frame it as a legal argument. You can frame it as an economic argument. But bottom line is that it's actually a problem of justice. And that's how we'd like to frame it. It's not just about Pakistan, and I can talk at length about Pakistan. I can just give you the highlights. How many Solankis are out there? Over the past 15 years, 6,000 people dead. How many wars have you had in the past 50 years? We took 6,000 lives. How many wars? You wouldn't be able to come up with one. 6,000 people dead. 19,000 people either injured or disabled. 1.8 billion school days lost. There are many people here who probably have children. And I know how it pains you when you can see your children for reasons which are beyond your control not going to school. Imagine 1.8 billion school days lost just in one country. This is the extent of damage that we are bearing because someone else controls the tap. But we are not alone. Look at Bangladesh. Imagine some farmer or fisherman there who cannot control when the water is going to flow. It's not just the story of Bangladesh. Imagine a woman walking 4 miles one way to get one bucket of water, one way, 4 miles, or however many kilometers. Because the water, the place from where she used to get the water, it has shrunk. And the water has receded. So this is not a crisis in her life. This is her life. Every day of her life, she gets up, she walks 4 miles to get one bucket of water for her children. And that because someone upstream, not in Pakistan, somewhere else, someone upstream has decided to choke that water. And the story is that someone else who's upstream decides when the water is going to be turned on and when the water is going to be turned off. These devastations that I'm talking about, they're twinfold. They're like a double bind. On the one hand, they're countries that emit carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide leads to global warming, that global warming leads to the glaciers melting, and those glacier melting is what causes the devastation, the floods that I'm talking about. That's one bind. So you look around, and three countries of the world produce 57, 56% of the world's carbon dioxide. Three countries. And 10 countries produce 70% of the world's carbon dioxide, and same 10 countries take 80% of the green financing. We also have a neighbor who also creates, who's the third largest polluter in the world, third largest emitter of carbon dioxide in the world. And not only they create the furnace that raises temperatures, which leads to floods, which creates these 6,000 people dead and 20,000 people maimed. They also then control the tap. So there's a double bind. Just in the past floods, at one choking point, 1 point on Chenab, 18,000 cubics of water in 2 days, becoming 1,500 cubics of water without one drop of rain. What is happening? We're not talking about rain. We're talking about something else. When 18,000 or 16,000 cubics of water flow drops to 1,500 or starts from 1,500 and goes to 18,000 within 2 days with no rainfall, it's not rainfall, it's something else. And that something else is transboundary water. There's a fundamental question here. And the fundamental question is not just Indus Water Treaty or any other treaty. That is the strongest water treaty ever. So when you're talking about Indus Water Treaty, you're not talking about one treaty. You're talking about the rule-based regime. How do you treat injustice is the question. I mean, do you give right to 3 countries to produce 56% of the carbon dioxide emissions? Do you give 10 countries the right to produce 70% of the carbon dioxide emissions? So my view is you treat it in the same way at fora like this with scholars like yourselves sitting around the table. Speak up, write about it. When we muck around, we produce less than 1%. We 220 million people, and we produce less than 1%, and quite a bit less than 1% of the carbon dioxide emission. So we are saying, guys, stop doing this, because you are mucking around with nature, and the nature is going to punish you. And the same happens, same thing for all the treaties. That's why I didn't just give you our example. I spoke about the Tigris, I spoke about Niles, I spoke about the Aral Sea, and I'm also talking about the Indus Water Treaty. I think this is a problem of rights. I think it's a problem of justice. I think you should write about it. I think we should raise our voice. I think we are not, I can assure you from the government of Pakistan that we are not against the poor people living across the border in India. Why would we be against them? They're equally poor. Their farmers also want climate. They also want protection. The changing monsoon patterns are affecting us, devastating us. They're also affecting them and devastating them. So if the wind blows, can you stop it? So the water that has been flowing for millions of years, you're going to stop it? And you think there are not going to be consequences? There are going to be consequences on both sides. So I'm saying, guys, may the poor have more power. May their lives be empowered. The entire world, including Pakistan and India. But injustice is not sustainable. I mean, about 40% of the people of Pakistan do agriculture. 40%. About 25% of our GDP is agriculture. And 100% of our food security is agriculture. If someone attacks the flow of river around which we built this entire civilization, what do you think it's going to be? From our perspective, it's going to be a declaration of war. Do we want wars? No, we don't want wars. And we say this from a position of strength. You've seen what has happened over the past 2 skirmishes or wars or whatever you want to call them. So we are speaking about peace. When we want Pakistan to be not the net security provider, as the world has been saying, we want Pakistan and other countries to be the net peace providers. So it is in that spirit of peace provision that I come to you. And I would say, raise your voice. I would ask all of the multilateral fora to do justice, to talk about it. And I think we can settle all of these problems across boundary and also across nature. I think we can resolve all of these, including me. So if your argument and your evidence is stronger, we stand corrected. But let's have a dialogue, talk about it. This unilateralism, where would this take this world? We know where it took us 60, 80 years ago. So if you wanted one more round of unilateralism and come up with these new kind of instruments of preemptive strikes and offensive, defensive, and whatever not we are coming